Hey, Christ family. Welcome back to the channel. How's everybody doing out there? Sending you guys some love, some healing, some peace, and harmony. Just a quick update on all my stuff. Everything is flowing smooth here. Thanks for your prayers. We're on the up and up. And just let's keep keeping on, right? So this video is going to be about a little bit of everything. First thing I wanted to show you that we got a new moon coming up. If you look over here, I underlined the moon age. So right now when I'm making the video, it's about 28.5 days old. It's a waning crescent and she's on her way to line up with Big Pape. Let's do that and see with it. Let's move the clock ahead. So it's going to be on the 14th around 5 a.m. in the morning. And I live in the Northeast America. I live in Massachusetts. So it's really going to be, let's say, she reaches her fullness at 4:58 a.m. July 14th. And again, she's got this alignment going on with Big Papi. It seems a little off to the left now. Usually it's straight ahead, but hey, she still renewed herself in the light of the sun. So beautiful. It's the beginning of the month, we always say too, with this new moon, right? And in a few days after that, on the 29th, everybody's moving. She's gonna be, you see, we have this Sun and Jupiter conjunction going on while the moon is full. So pretty exciting. And the full moon is going to pick up in Capricorn, and we'll do the time right there. It's about 8. Oh, about 8:40, I think, in the morning. On July 29th, we'll have the full moon. And yes, it's in Capricorn, but according to Kaylin and Eric and the constellations and the progression of the equinox, this is called an Aquarius full moon. So pretty exciting, right? This is a part of the alchemy that goes on up there. I love the way Kaylin refers to it as evolution. And it makes me wonder, has she heard of the spiritual evolution? Because that's what we're taught in the Holy Megillah about spiritual evolution. And we're going to read about that today from the Holy Megillah in a minute. But I want to show you a few of these slides from Kaylin and Eric's monthly My Star Alchemy. So every month they do a full moon video. I haven't seen the new moon video, but I'm pretty sure they probably do that too. And so they just released their full moon in Aquarius My Star Alchemy video. I posted it in my community page, and I've taken some screenshots from that. And so I want to take a look at those really quick, because they say that before this full moon, there's all this stuff going on in the sky. So let's take a look at some of their slides. Here's one of the first ones that I thought was very interesting. They say a few days prior to this Aquarius full moon, on July 29th, we have a spectacular planetary linkage that's going to happen around July 18th through the 22nd. These 4 planets are in this 4 degrees aspect of fire and air. And so they say Uranus is going to be in Gemini, at 4 degrees. And that alchemical connection right there is all about technology. Okay. And then Jupiter is going to be in Leo at 4 degrees. And that alchemy is expanding our consciousness. And then Pluto in Aquarius at the 4 degrees is going to represent transformation and power. Some alchemy going on up there, right? And Neptune in Aries, that alchemy is vision and spiritual courage. And it's all happening at this 4 degrees, these 4 planets. And that reminds me of the principle of Fourness that's taught to us in the Nasarean Emerald Tablets. I actually want to jump over there and read about that too. Okay, so this is coming out of chapter 65, the Holy God Spell. It is the third of the Nasarean Emerald Tablet scrolls. And if you read this title here, these are teachings of Phoenix Thoth of Madhebah on Metamathematics. So in this Nasarean Emerald Tablet scrolls, Thoth is a phoenix, and he is from the highest heaven. That is what Madhebah is. And we're going to jump around, but this is important to read this first part here. It tells us that the first teaching of Thoth, the Nasarean White Wizard, studies metamathematics, which is called sacred mathematics, and that is to unlock the mystery of unity and diversity, which is unity in diversity as the one inclusive of the all universal Yahweh. This is some magical thinking, guys. And this is the way that the Nasareans use numbers. Second teaching of Thoth says, use numbers in sacred geometry to understand the various divine patterns and divine forms of the ultimate unity that is universal Yahweh, the all-inclusive, ultimate oneness. I think we'll just keep going because we are talking about that number 4 here. We came here to read about the Tetrad, the principle of Fourness, and this is where it starts out. The first Yahweh, the 4 Nasarean deities, crowned with Yah, Ar, Jah, and Jalah, Jade, and Janan. And they chose that there would be diversity within ultimate unity. Wherefore, Nasarean wizardry does not posit an ultimate unity, ultimate monad, that is without diversity. We posit particular monads, souls, that are each created in the image and the likeness of the original monad in its triune expression, the divine masculine and divine feminine crowned by Yah is that original first monad's triune expression. It says that triune expression is the self-replicating Trinity that gives birth to the square that is 4, the building block of nature upon which humankind sprouts as an upright pentagram on the way to doubling the first triangle by becoming the hexad, the star of 6 points, in continuing the cyclic ascending spiral, an unfoldment of sacred numbers and sacred geometries in service to merciful, supernal love. According to Nasarean teachings as revealed in the book of Matanah, Nasarean Genesis, the all-inclusive ultimate monad chose to grant the experience of individuality to each particular monad, and also chose to grant the experience of being a constituent part of the ultimate oneness, that is, the universal monad, the all. Thus, each soul is a part of the all, that we call universal Yahweh, yet also enjoys individuality as an eternal, evolving person. Each soul is a unique drop of the ocean of all, being free to conjure unique life experiences in the infinite field of unlimited possibilities. I've already read this whole one on my channel if you want to get it all, but we're going to scroll down now. Isn't that some juicy information? Man, unity in diversity. But down here it goes into this breakdown of this tetrad. This is really why we came here, the fourness principle, because we're looking at this beautiful alignment right in the sky. And it says that the tetrad at 4 degrees. So I wanted to read about this fourness principle, and that is the foundational squareness of 4 points that is featured in the cube. Thoth says because a cube has 6 square faces, it self-evidently is intimately related to the square, which clearly symbolizes the principle of fourness. This square-faced cube is the universal building block of nature and cannot exist without the Triad or the Trinity. 4 is only possible because a new point has emerged from the creative triangle. Okay, pretty awesome, right? You can cut either a square or an equilateral triangle in half and thereby make smaller triangles. Another fact of fourness is it takes a fourth part to give a 3-point flat surface depth and thus enables the manifestation of volume in 3 dimensions. The tetrahedron is thus born. The tetrahedron has 4 triangular faces and is a pyramid. Also, no volume other than the sphere has less than 4 corners or faces. That is why wizards of metamathematics typically use the number 4 to symbolize Earth, the material plane, and the building blocks of nature. The tetrad includes within its nature 1, the monad, 2, the duad, and 3, the triad, and 4, the tetrad, and thus equals 10 dots. Haha, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10, being the first appearance of the principle of 10 before having reached the decad. Pretty awesome, right? He goes on to say, thus the tetrad is also the first appearance of the tetactries within each decad, since each tetactry is 4 levels that total 10 dots. So they have this tetactry in the back of the book. It says consult that to understand the profound relationship of the first 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and their geometric symbols. Pretty awesome, right? So that's on the fourness finish up this slide, though. They say that the last time that Uranus and Pluto did this exact trine was in December of 1922, but they were in water signs, okay? And so this is something that hasn't happened for 104 years. And so very auspicious time, just like the sun being on the galactic cross this year, marking the 100-year anniversary of the sun on the cross. Well, now this is what they were talking about, these outer planets doing this dance. It's very rare too, because they take a long time to move across the sky. So this is another 104-year anniversary of some of this alchemy going on. They said that it feels like it's one of the most significant alignments of the 21st century, and that all of this alchemy is creating a massive technological and cultural renaissance designed to reconfigure global power, human networks, and collective innovation. So this sounds great, right? This is the catalyst, they say, to usher in a massive altruistic technological and industrial renaissance, united by purpose, powered by innovation, guided by consciousness. Wow. Very exciting times that we're living in, right? And all of this is reminding me of the prophecy in the book of Enoch that is found in the Holy Megillah. That's pretty different than the mainstream Enoch, too, if you don't know. But he talked about this era that we were going to be living in. And the Lady Christ called it the era of two great choices. Okay, we're going to read from that too. Okay, so this is coming from Appendix 4. And this is the lady clothed with sun, moon, and rainbow, Magdalene's revelation to those of the era called the last days. And all of this new era talk had me realizing that this was prophesied as well in the Megillah. It originally started with Enoch and the Lady Christ all the way back in the book of Enoch. And if you're new here, this book of Enoch in the Holy Megillah is not the same as the mainstream book of Enoch. But it says here that in verse 21 that this is the era of two great choices. So she's going to travel with Sarah Jalil to a time just before the sixth trump era comes to pass. And the Lady Christ tells Jalil that this is the era of two great choices that must be made. One of those choices is that humanity must choose between the solar civilization described by Enoch or its antithesis, which is planetary overheating due to inappropriate use of other forms of power. And then the other of those two choices is not to cross the line and interface the natural brain with the artificial brain, because to do that is to receive the mark of the beast inside your head. She says, in this form, it has many forms. That mark is a code written in your brain that directly links your thoughts to a regional artificial brain. Okay, that's why all of this AI stuff, we need to pause it. And I'm going to show you some stuff that I joined. It's this big movement called Pause AI, because this is the era that we're in right now. And she says that you have to choose not to interface yourself. Don't become one with these machines. She says, because if you interface and you take that mark, that the code that is written in your brain directly links your thoughts to a regional artificial brain. Ask a question and the artificial brain will answer. It's going to take away your ability to think. And all these regional artificial brains are linked to the master artificial brain that in the land of the eagle is beneath a mountain and is called Global Organization Database. Okay. And in the tongue of the people of this land, the acronym for that name spells the word God. Okay. So, though this brain of the beast is located in this land, behold, it knows no boundaries, and it is linked to the global spider web, and has no true allegiance to any one nation. It is a false god and offers false immortality, but delivers a hellish disembodiment as enslaved light. Okay, so that is the warning from the Lady Christ. Even one of Kaylin and Eric's slides talked about the eagle. So Altair is in this Aquarius full moon lineup as well. But we see the prophecy in the Holy Megillah connecting this eagle and this land of the eagle to this master brain and this great, huge, what they're calling technological awakening or whatever, right? So we need to be really quick. This is a post that I posted on my channel. If you look here, this is all these dots are showing where they have these AI data centers at already. And so there's a national day of protest against the data centers. And that's on July 18th. So this is the actual time of making this decision. This is the first great choice that we have to make, because if we don't stop them from putting in all of these data centers, we're going to run out of water. And that's what the Lady Christ called it, planetary overheating. So if you're in any of these states, you need to get to this protest on July 18th and stand against these data centers. That's the first choice. And the second one is to look how many they already have. And so the linking of man to machine is already happening in some of these areas. You get chips, and don't you see it? They want to put your biometrics in there, get your pass key, all of those things that they're asking for right now, your eye scan, and all that is linking you to this machine, right? And so let's make the right choice, humanity. All right, and I signed up for this thing called Pause AI. I'll show you that really quick, but I've been getting links now for when they're in my city so that I can join. And this one is to travel to Washington, D.C. to meet with Congress and take part in an AI safety demonstration. All right, so there's a lot of information on it. Look it up. I'll try to put a link to this Pause AI in the description of this video. But this is the era of the two great choices. So let's go and read a little more from Prophetess Anwah now in the Holy Megillah about this era that we're in, called the era of the last days. And it's right here where the Prophetess Anwah, she breaks it down. And they all are quoted from the book of Enoch. But she says, Qushab, that this is the revelation of the sixth trumpet. Okay? It is the purpose of the artificials who are Luciferians to wed man to machine. For it is their desire that over time man will become machine. Okay? This is why all of this breakthrough technology and the things that they were talking about, I said we need to be weary of it. Because right now, they say that this rare celestial formation was first written about in 1979 by astrologer Andre Barbault, who saw this alignment nearly 50 years ago. And he imagined that this planetary configuration would be the catalyst for creating a new civilization built on technological breakthroughs, global unity, and human progress. Okay. And that there's this harmonic trine between Uranus, technology, and Pluto, transformational power, envisioning discoveries directly related to alleviate human suffering. This massive, altruistic, technological, and industrial renaissance could be helping to alleviate suffering of mankind by offering these neural links. So we need to be weary, but this time is upon us, okay? And let's get back over to Anwah. She says, because it's the purpose of the artificials, who are Luciferians, to wed man to machine, for it is their desire that over time man will become machine. And the key to this plan is like unto a magic box. And mankind loves the magic box and calls it friend. And from the magic box comes forth seeming miracles, yea, and great fun, and access to great wisdom. Does that remind you of this internet master brain, right, guys? It says hour after hour, day after day, mankind will sit in front of his magic box, not wanting to be separated from it. They will make it smaller and carry it with them. And this is according to the plan of the Luciferians, for they wish to link mankind to this machine, for this machine is like unto a brain, and all these brains will one day be linked to the master brain of the Luciferians. Yea, great good and enhanced efficiency will come from the magic box. But there is a line that should not be crossed. Okay? Here is that line. When man links his natural brain to the artificial brain, then that line has been crossed. Okay? They're already doing it with Neuralink, okay? But when that line is crossed, know this, the sixth trump of the last days has been sounded. And the time of the sixth trump will be a duration of years, for the linkage of man to machine will begin slowly and take time. Okay. And Eric even said that he says, though not likely to happen in an instant, it is a time when the chaotic energy of the preceding year is morphing into a coherent, stable global structure, creating a massive leap in the collective consciousness. All right, so all of this, Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius, is triggering a massive leap, okay, in physics, neuroscience, spiritual philosophy, okay, and that is going to equal forever changing how humanity perceives its interconnectedness. That's what was prophesied. Well, a revelation by Prophetess Anwah. Humankind will wiggle around in a spider web, being progressively wrapped up. At first, it will seem like a great blessing, and many ills will be cured. Wherefore, man will take step after step, not knowing where his steps are leading him. But the Luciferians of the hidden government beneath the mountain know, for behold, all of this is according to their plan. And the day will come when none may legally buy or sell unless they be linked to the master brain. And the naturals, who are those that refuse enhancement, will be persecuted. For lo, this is the time of which Enoch warned. Okay? Because this is where the eagle comes into that they were showing us. Altair says, Quashah, behold, the time of the sixth trump will be interrupted by the terrible wailings of the seventh trump. For this is the time when the white palace, which was the home of the king of eagles, shall be turned to black ash, as prophesied by Enoch. Behold the words of Enoch. I've read this so many times. I'm not going to read it again. You can pause it and read that if you like. I'm just going to pick it up in 139, where Anwah says, but also hear this. Enoch taught that truly there are two possible paths for humanity, a positive path and a negative path. At the time of each trumpet, and even between the sounding of each trumpet, humans can change the path they walk. She says, although I am a positive, happy prophet and not a prophet of doom, I have provided the warning of the seven trumps of the last days for good reason. Humanity is currently walking the negative path. Rather than let humanity sleepwalk on that downward path without waking up in time to avert catastrophe, I have, as did Enoch, given warning. The seventh trump need not be sounded. It can be averted. But if the warning is not given, humanity may remain asleep. Even so, let all Nasareans that give this warning also make clear that these trumpets need not sound. Like holy Enoch was shown, the future course of events can be altered. Yea, the book of life has blank pages. Yes, because we are creators. And that's another thing that I keep hearing Kaylin and Eric talk about, this time of imagining and really ushering in these positive aspects that are already there. They've been buried under all this other uh, stuff. But here's another one of their slides. They were just showing us that July 25th is on the Mayan calendar. It's the time out of time. It's the day out of time. And so July 26th is the Mayan New Year, and she says that when the North Node enters Aquarius, it's the Mayan New Year. And so this is another rare revolutionary event marking a collective movement towards community, spiritual growth, and releasing ego-driven pursuits to benefit the greater good. So that's what I'm saying. You see all this positive energy that's in the sky coming up, leaving behind self-centered me, moving towards community-oriented we, where innovation and collaboration supports us to sharing our most innovative and authentic contributions to the greater reality. You know about the 7 great realizations taught in the Holy Megillah by Yeshua too. The first one is the I am, but that fourth one is the we are. And so I realized that all of this 4 degrees and stuff could be symbolizing the 4th great realization. Because listen to what they said here. The number 4 is a foundational number, including the 4 directions, north, east, south, west. The 4 elements, earth, air, water, and fire. The 4 major seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall. And the 4 fundamental states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, plasma. It is known for representing stability, order, and physical manifestation across almost all ancient and modern systems. And what Kaylin and Eric realized is that this is some sacred geometry. Haha, you see it? It's the 5-pointed star. And if you know about the 5 precepts of kindness that were taught in the Holy Megillah in butterfly school, you'll know that this star is the star of compassion. Here it is. I got these slides from Essene.org, one of the videos that are talking about the 5 precepts of kindness by Priestess Therese. So thank you, Priestess Therese, for these beautiful slides. But this is called the Star of Compassion according to the Nasarean teachings in the Holy Megillah. And Yakin is Yeshua's great-grandfather on his mother's side. And he was the one who was teaching Yeshua when he was 5 years old. And all Nasareans go to what is called butterfly school at 5 years old. So we all learn about this. This is like the foundation of everything you'll find out here. And so each of the 5 points of this star has a precept that is associated with it. And these 5 precepts are called the precepts of kindness for the people of the upright star, which is the star of compassion. And this upright star is like unto the figure of a human with 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head. Wherefore the first precept is called the right leg, the second precept the left leg, the third precept the right arm, and the 4th precept the left arm. And the 5th precept is the head. That sounds like something my friend used to say about leg, leg, arm, arm, head, something like that. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is the guiding light here, this text. And so it also says that know that at the center of the star is a heart, wherefore this is the star of compassion. And within that heart is written a word, and that word is love. For lo, compassion is a fruit of love. Okay. And Priestess Therese broke down the word. What is compassion? Let's look at that. She says, compassion is a suffering with another, painful, sympathy, a sensation of sorrow excited by the distress or misfortunes of another, pity, commiseration. Compassion is a mixed passion, compounded of love and sorrow. At least some portion of love generally attends to the pain or regret or is excited by it. That's the definition of compassion in the Webster's dictionary, right? And they say compassion is a fruit of love. So let's check out those 5 precepts in depth. 5 precepts of kindness. It's all coming out of the Holy Megillah. And this would be, I think, in chapter 7 of the Holy God Spell. I gotta check and see. I'll put it in the footnotes of what chapter this is coming out of because I didn't write that down. But the first precept would be that right leg, precept 1, the guiding principle. Be kind to all creatures as you wish kindness done to you, for so it will be done, if not in this life, then in the next to come. Precept 2, forgive yourself, but grow kinder. Forgive yourself the trespass that is bound with being human. Even the vegetarian is not without violence, yea, even the holy farmer disturbs the ant nest, and the gentle gardener occasionally kills a worm, for this comes with breaking the ground. Forgive yourself the trespass bound with being human, but lovingly walk the path of kindness with all your heart and strength, taking what steps you can towards ever increasing kindness towards all living beings. Precept 3, a key to kindness. Truly hope for the best for all beings, human and non-human, but know that what is truly best for a being and what a being may believe is best may not be one and the same. Lo, truly hope for what is truly best for each being, leaving it to Jaja to determine what is best. For behold, a hunter may believe it is best that he slay many creatures, but Jaja may believe it is best that he cease killing. This is precepts on kindness. Yes, yes, yes. Precept 4, another key to kindness is to wed your kind hopes with daily deeds of kindness. My favorite YouTuber, Lavette, says that all the time. She says, bank those random acts of kindness because you're going to need them. And ain't nothing like a random act, a complete stranger. It's a different type of thing to help a complete stranger out. That would be a random act of kindness. Give it a try. And last but not least, precept 5 is called the most needed thing, is to grow steadily in kindness. One thing is most needed. You must truly desire with all of your heart to be kind. Amen. Because you got the heart at the center of this star, remember? Yes. So this is the star of compassion that these planetary, that these outer planets are creating in the sky right now. So if you haven't never been kind before, now is the time to do that. Okay. And so we're going to jump over and read about some of this sacred geometry from the Holy Megillah now, because everything that is in the sky and that Kaylin and Eric are talking about has been spoken about in the Holy Megillah. And that's why I love the teachings in the Holy Megillah, because ever since finding this book now, it's been about 5 years, I have been able to use it as my guiding light now, because I have found more truth in the Megillah concentrated in those pages than every bit and piece that I could find from this person or that book or this book. It's more truth concentrated into one place. So if you are new here and you don't know about the Holy Megillah, you need to visit Essene.org and learn about this holy scripture that we have now, because I use it as, like I said, it's my guideline, my guiding light, and all of the above. And so let's jump over there now. We see that those stars are creating a 5-pointed star. And so here's some more on the pentad. Is 2 plus 3 or 4. Same book we're reading from in this Holy God spell. This is Thoth on the pentad. And he says the pentad is 2 plus 3 or 4 plus 1. And so either way, It is a union of an even and odd number. The four-square tetrahedron has progressed into the number of the upright human being, 5. The human as the one monad, the 1 point, walking on the square of 4 points. He says we symbolize fiveness as the upright pentagram, the 5-pointed star that symbolizes many things, including the upright human being and the 5 precepts of kindness. In Nasarean wizardry, each human being is considered just as upright as demonstrated by their degree of manifestation of the 5 precepts of kindness. It is only when a human being walks in intentional kindness and thus manifests the level of 4 crowned by the radiant lantern of kindness that the initiate is called an enlightened, upright human being. The top point of that upright pentagram is the radiant crown, right? Like I keep saying, I can see the teachings of the Megillah in the sky now every time I look. All right. I think that was all I wanted to show you. There was one last slide they had, which was so amazing. And I know we're not going to have time to really get into it, but this was called Sabian symbol. So that's why I love watching Kaylin and Eric too. I always learn something new. And there's, I guess, a symbol for each degrees of the zodiac. But this one for this Aquarian full moon is a child born out of an eggshell. And so really quick, this is a symbol of the mother ovum in the teachings of the Megillah. This entire construct, and this is what we're supposed to be doing, spiritually evolving and breaking out of the egg and spending that blessed day of play with Jah and Jalah, Big Mama and Big Papa. And really, finally, it's called the return to Godhead. And so this is a beautiful picture. I'll show you a little bit about these Sabian symbols because I don't know much about them. I got to do my research. But this system is a 360 symbolic images, each corresponding to a degree of the zodiac, used to provide intuitive insight into personality, life path, and spiritual potential. So these symbols were created in 1925 through a collaboration between astrologer Mark Edmund Jones and clairvoyant Elsie Wheeler. I love that. We know about them names, right? Gilgala means wheel. Anyhow, um, it's pretty interesting how they were created. If you want to pause that and read any more on that, you can. You want to look into it definitely a little more. But I love the one for this Aquarius full moon. Just so sexy. The human born out of an egg. I love it. He says here, this can be interpreted as an emergence and birth of a novelty within a mystery container. It could be Pandora's box, knowledge from the sky, or simply an enigma that will not be defined. It will if you read the Holy Megillah, though. It is interesting that Pluto conjuncts this full moon because Pluto symbolizes death, rebirth, and within Aquarius, an unexpected occurrence is opening humanity to a new form. New higher vibration, maybe, right? That's what all this Aquarian energy is all about, right? All right, well, I'm gonna go on and get out of here, guys. But thanks for watching, and I'll be back when I can. We got the Essene gathering coming up during this time too, which is very special. We're all gonna be together, and it is co-creation time. So get them thoughts in the right place, and do your homework so you can be understanding what is going on. You can mirror the energy in the sky, and you can also give the warnings about this time that we're in right now. All right. High five, right? All right. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.